Apart from being the king of his castle, Ted is also what you describe as a bit of a ladies' man. Doreen Ross recalls her first visit to see him.
We drove up the driveway, and we came past, and there was like wolves or foxes or something running back and forth in this cage, and up on the roof were coyotes on the roof of the castle, and they were like howling and screaming, and like, I mean, it was like really not possible that this could be happening in L.A. I walked up and knocked on the door. It had a big clapper. And the door opened up, and Ted is there. And you know what Ted looks like with his sort of Elvis Presley hairdo and his like his mustache, and then this big thing around his neck, this big tusk around his neck. And I went in, and he was real nice. I mean, he looked very bizarre, but he was a real nice person. I had this instant, I liked him.
This is Ted's philosophy for castle living.
Why a castle? Why not? Since the human is the only being in the entire animal kingdom that has the ability to totally and completely change his environment and to make it what he wants it to be, why not put yourself where you want to be? I want to be in a castle as a castle dweller. I desire to share my life and what I have with people I love and want to be with. Since I have the ability to create this space, then I wish to share it with ladies, females that I love, who then are also castle dwellers. In the castle ladies and myself, as Lord Master, if you will permit this terminology, simply because of its implicit clarity, live in a free space that allows us the greatest opportunity for total fulfillment and achieving success in all of our lives.
Ah, Ted, here you are. Had trouble finding it. This must be the master bedroom, is it?
Well, I guess you'd call it that.
It's splendid. And you have a few more ladies lying around, or standing around.
Yeah, there's Lisa behind you over there, and this is Lucretia, Joelle, Jennifer, Catherine, and Cynthia.
These aren't the real castle ladies, are they? You can be honest with me.
They're the ladies that didn't make it.
What's the story behind the castle lady? Because at one time you were living with 7 women, is that right?
Well, over a period of 12 or 14 years, it's probably been 60 or 70.
But they were always introduced as, quote, my wives, you know. And I'd say hi, and I got to know quite a few of them, but they didn't stay that long. They were there maybe a month or 6 months, or a little longer. Sherry was the longest.
Was it hard work? Very, very hard work. 8,000 square feet of hard work. And that's not including 3 acres of property. And the animals. I had foxes. We had foxes and coyotes and raccoons and skunks and dogs and cats and rats and my own personal rats, besides the one in the castle.
Did you have relationships with them over and above the working?
Well, of course, that's kind of personal. We've always vowed that we don't talk about the personal things that go on between us, but it depends on, if you call a relationship, what 2 people or more do together.
It was a curious thing. I don't know really how he found other women. He would meet them. He would be attracted to them. He often thought that he knew them from previous lifetimes. It takes a certain kind of woman, first of all, to understand Ted. Second of all, to love Ted. And not all of the castle women loved Ted, but most of us did.
The prerequisites to being a castle lady when we were at the castle was that essentially they had to be responsible and no messing around.
Do you think you could have been a castle lady?
No, never, because I don't let anybody rule my life per se like he wanted to rule their lives. He told them that it was okay for him to fool around, but not okay for them to fool around. And to me, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
We share our lives for a time, and I try to add something to their lives, and we share in doing a lot of things like making films. Some learn to do makeup, wardrobe, become script girls.
Coming your way, Girl in Gold Boots.
The girl in the gold boots moves like a flame.
And just like his life, the majority of Ted's films are filled with women.
When the music starts.
Ted's movies and his life is kind of the same thing, you know. I mean, there's a fine line between the movies he makes and the life he leads to the best of his ability.
Your world of ancient witchcraft and ceremonial magic is brought to you in all its stark terror and nightmarish horror.
Ted likes to feel that the females around him are strong enough to control what's going on. And he does particularly prefer to be dominated by the female sex. He loves women. As far as he's concerned, there's nothing they can do wrong. You know?
Powerful females are probably an attraction for almost every man. Many men won't admit it. But women are very capable, and in films they've never been proven to be capable. They've proven to be incapable.
Here comes the Doll Squad, America's newest and deadliest secret weapon. A rocket is sabotaged. This sets the scene for one of the greatest manhunts in the history of the United States.
What's the name of the island?
Meet Sabrina Kincaid, the leader of the Doll Squad, played by red-headed, beautiful Francine York. He recruits members of the Doll Squad from every class of society. The deadly blade of a dagger. The deadly spit from a lethal silencer. Or their slashing hands. Karate, kung fu, judo. Don't miss the Doll Squad. Total entertainment for all ages. Be sure to see the Ted V. Mikels film production of The Doll Squad.
Where did you get the idea to have a team of women assassins?
Well, you know, far be it from me to ever forget that females are the reason why we all exist, right? So teams of women and women in action have always been interesting and very saleable, very marketable. And I always attempt to show women in a good light. I like to give females the credit for being capable.
Drink a little more of that. One more swig. Good for you. Hey, how about that, thanks?
I don't feel so good.
Neither do I.
Say, I got just the thing for you fellas in the truck. Just a minute.
I had an advantage of being able to use an automatic firing machine gun for one night. So I just went berserk. I'm sure the people in my cast and crew thought I was berserk because there was no script. I made it up. I say, you, grab these machine guns and fire. You're firing over here in the direction of my hand. Camera's over here. Okay, the action is you run in, you fire off camera, and you run up. Okay, who are we firing at? Don't worry about it. And so for about 12 hours until daylight, I just had everybody running. And nobody knew what they were shooting at, who was chasing who. There wasn't a screenplay. I made it up.
They work and kill for Uncle Sam.
Was the Doll Squad made before Charlie's Angels, the TV series?
Oh, yes. Almost 4 years. I received calls from New York, people who had observed the opening episodes of Charlie's Angels, and they had said, Ted, They used Doll Squad. They used the girls' names out of the Doll Squad. They used the whole plot premise and everything else. You should do something about it. And I said, oh, I can dream up new ideas all day long. So I didn't do anything about it. But it was a direct takeoff. Even the leading lady, Sabrina, right out of my movie, 4 years earlier.
When 10 liberated, fun-loving, decisive...